What would it take for inference to feel like electricity?
Inference scales fundamentally differently. So we actually don't believe in one size fits all. So does anyone has absolute secret sauce? Probably not.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Inference, the interview series on Turing Post. And today I'm thrilled to talk to Lin Qiao. She is the co-founder and CEO of Fireworks AI and the former head of PyTorch at Meta, where she led the rebuild of Meta's entire AI infrastructure stack. Welcome, Lin.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with a big question. When will inference become a solved problem? Like, what would it take for inference to feel like electricity? Reliable, cheap, and visible? And what still stands in the way?
That's an interesting question. I think we're just at the starting point of optimizing inference. And there are many different dimensions to look at. I want to probably look at from the eyes of app developers. Those are the cohort we care the most about. There's no question that GenAI is a revolutionary technology. It's able to generate content closest or beating humans' interaction with the real world, right? So that's kind of the biggest value. Because of that, I think it's inevitable, it's all pretty safe to predict there will be many generational companies be able to define new user experience that never existed before, building on top of AI. They are going to disrupt the industry and how we interact with software, with application day to day. Through that lens, I think we will already see kind of a lot of innovation that is happening in the field. But one interesting phenomenon that's happening is before we talk about product market fit, right? So if you hit the product market fit, then you just scale, right? So that's kind of a well understood runbook. If you hit product market fit, then you're going to have a viable business. In GenAI, for application built on top of GenAI, hitting product market fit and having a viable business are the two separate problems. It's very interesting because you can build a new user experience having a lot of value to the end users, whether they're consumers or developers. But it doesn't mean you can quickly scale to a viable business because your operation cost is going to be so much higher. Everything around the GPU, infrastructure about GPU is orders of magnitude higher than traditional application built on top of CPU. So we often hear stories that, for the companies talking to us, they are like, hey, we are very confident about our product. A lot of great signals. We beta launch it. We have a waiting list of millions of users waiting. We couldn't open up the floodgate because we know if we open up, we're going to run out of money. In another way, having a product market fit is the beginning of going to bankruptcy. So isn't that interesting? Right?
That's very interesting. Yeah, it's a new thing.
It's a new thing, and that's fundamental because you can visualize this, right? The new application is like the iceberg, right? It's a very big iceberg that is being built right now, being created right now. But right now, most of the iceberg is submerged under the waterline because infrastructure cost is very high. And if you imagine the costs start to kind of shrink down to 10 times lower, then the amount of application that will emerge above the waterline is going to be enormous, right? That's where the future is going to be. But when it comes to how will the infrastructure cost shrink down, and there are so many different approaches. And we'll look to kind of talk about our opinion, our observation, especially working with the leading application providers.
What is your approach to making this iceberg smaller?
So fundamentally, it boils down to the fundamental misalignment or disparity of two sets of data. One set of data are the data being used to train a foundation model in a research lab. It doesn't matter whether it's closed model, open model, it doesn't matter. For the research lab training foundation model, they will have a team defining the objective of what are the most important areas the model will be very good at. And based on that, curate a lot of data related to the problem statement. So that's the data distribution they will control and manage and feeding the model, and the outcome is what they want to see. So that is one on one side. On the other side, there are so many application developers. Their goal is to align their product design to user engagement, right? Their goal is to maximize user engagement from their product design. So they're constantly experimenting the product features and design to drive those product metrics based on the product data they see. I would say the kind of product data coming from the product is another data distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And with these two data distribution, as you can see, it's built for different purposes by different companies, by different group of people. By design, those are not aligned. And now you're putting them together. The app developers, when they build product, they're going to use those models, and these models will power the product. And this misalignment is the fundamental root cause of accuracy gap, of latency gap, of cost. We have seen many great companies, despite they're new, they're young, they figure out how to create this alignment themselves. They are able to control their destiny to have a better model for themselves, faster model, and also cost-efficient model for them to scale viable business after product market fit. So this is the kind of fundamental observation we have across the industry. That is the missing part, that a few small set of people are able to figure it out now, but majority of people are staying at the space where they think about model API as a utility. They just send their request to the model, even though there's a big misalignment that exists. That's kind of the interesting dynamic space we observe right now, and we're trying to help our application developers to be able to close the alignment gap.
So you're working with enterprises to align these two data columns, right? Can you just tell me a little more about your journey to that? Because you founded Fireworks in October 2022, before ChatGPT. So why did you start it then, and how your vision changed and your approaches changed when generative AI really bloomed?
Yeah, so I would say the founding team, we have a very big founding team, 7 of us. We have been working at Meta between 7 to 10 years, pretty much bootstrap the AI infrastructure across both training and inference at Meta. When we started, we have option to do both because PyTorch has been used on both sides, or pick training or pick inference. And at that time, this is September 2022, most of people are on training. They are either training a model themselves or installing GPU for training or building some kind of training infrastructure. We have decided to go all in on inference. We only like to do inference. We have experience on both sides because we believe inference scales fundamentally differently. It scales with the number of consumers or developers, where world population is the upper bound. Training scales with a very small talent pool of researchers. So we feel like the inference TAM is way bigger. It also has like high production requirement and complexity goes with it. And those are the problems we love to add value to. So that's kind of the initial focus and the strategic decision we made. If you look back, it feels like we were against the trend. People at that time will say, hey, who care about inference? People are still early and so on. But I think thanks to that decision, we made the investment early, and we have built a very sophisticated tool chain for us to be the best provider on the inference side. The idea goes back to data alignment problem I mentioned. So our inference stack is not one size fits all. You don't use our inference stack as, hey, this is just another API. No matter what is the workload shape and pattern, it's the same. So we actually don't believe in one size fits all. We believe in one size fits one, and every application is different. In some sense, this idea is not new. It exists in many other compute space. For example, databases, right? A database will take a query and then optimize it underneath through a query optimizer and execute the most efficient plan. Right. So a database is not one size fits all. Every query is treated differently. So similar idea here is we treat every application workload differently, but the optimization happens automatically. We call it 3-dimensional optimization, 3D optimizer. So 3 dimensions are quality, speed, and cost. So we optimize across all 3 dimensions at the same time. So in that sense, it's a much more complicated problem than a database query optimizer. And the bad news is the search space is big because there are a lot of underlying components we need to optimize for. Each component has lots of options to pick and choose from, and those options stack on top of each other, leading to hundreds, thousands of combinations. So we're picking one needle, these 100,000 haystacks. So that makes the problem very complicated. But the good news is we're very good at solving those kind of problems. In our kind of almost all customer onboarded to Fireworks are using our 3D optimizer today.
It's probably very hard to explain that to enterprises on such a multi-layered level.
Yeah, so this is more like what's happening under the hood. But when we talk with enterprise, we will map it to their business values, right? And the use cases. Right now, we have seen a wide variety of very interesting use cases, especially 2025 is the year of agents. It's amazing how fast this industry moves in space is across startups and enterprises. They're all building some form and shape of agents, right? All the way from coding agents, significant, various different kind of coding agents, vibe coding or non-vibe coding to significantly increase the productivity. There are agents, there are hiring agents where giving a job profile automatically source talents and even conduct interviews for you and assess performance. There are SRE agent, those production engineer that can help you debug, triage issues during the incidents. There are customer service agent, very popular one because all large enterprise has customer service. Some enterprise even have more than 20,000 human agents in the customer space. To make them productive is a huge cost saving for those enterprise. There are marketing agents, so giving your marketing campaign automatically generate outbound with a very specific target audience. And we also see a vibrant adoption from the medical space, from retail space, from education space, from finance space across the board. So usually we will, when we talk with those enterprises, we will talk about case studies and the impact from this video optimizer. And that's kind of land much better than talk about technical terms.
How do you talk to them about models? What is your approach? I know it's no fit at all, but is it a general model? Is it a small model that's much more narrow?
Yeah, obviously we believe in open, developing in open. So our business model is mainly focused on open models because it provides transparency and full control that enterprise can have, and they do care about that a lot. But at the same time, we also want to look at the problem from our users' eyes, right? So their goal is not to make open models successful. That's not their goal. Their goal is to solve the problem and land big business impact. And they will use whatever tool it takes to make sure they'll be successful. So during enterprise engagement, we have cookbook for them to build their AI gateway where they will connect with whatever model provider they would like to, and we will be one of the provider, and we help them standardize that stack. We also have a set of evaluation, our private evaluation benchmarks for them to assess different use cases, which model is the best. And there we are very objective. If a close model is better, then we will just give them the report and then they can pick and choose from. And for the cases that they want to tune an open model and to drive the best quality, we also give them tools to do that. So we often come to meet them in where the needs are and go from there. That's kind of our fundamental operating principle is we do not want them to bend themselves to think about how to use a vendor. We want to go to meet where they are.
Well, talking about open models, Chinese models are completely crushing it lately. And why do you think DeepSeek R1 and latest Kimi K2 and Qwen 3 and GLM from ZAI, why do they set new precedents for all model providers, open and closed? What is so special about them?
Yeah, I would say this is very interesting, right? So because they're more resource constrained, they don't have the powerful GPUs as we have here, but that doesn't prevent them.
Doesn't stop them
from innovating. And this is a bunch of things, right? Overall, I think there's a sign that the models are converging overall. It doesn't matter it's closed or open model, because at the end, there are two things, right? One is training techniques. You have secret sauce that goes back to talent. I think talent is kind of flattening, as in people move around and there are a lot of information sharing. So does anyone has absolute secret sauce? Probably not. And then the second is data, right? So as I mentioned, the data and data distribution determines the model quality at the end. And the amount of data is convergent from publicly available data you can crawl, or from labeling company where they can provide additional label data to increase quality. My understanding is all the labs are using more or less similar kind of labeling company. That part is going to flatten out. And then it's about how you generate more data, right? People generate synthetic data. People train the largest model in order to go small. The largest model can generate synthetic data to train the smaller model, right? So then the synthetic data generation is going to be capital heavy. There is also specific kind of tools or approaches to generate good high quality synthetic data. I feel that probably no one has unique advantage in the long run. Those are kind of various different factors. But at the same time, people are also being more and more creative in when they train, they don't just about training time quality. They are also thinking about inference time together at the same time. So cross-training and inference alignment becomes the focus. And that's where various different model providers, especially recent models, we see a lot of innovation, creativity, because they are doing experiments.
Yeah.
In order to kind of make the inference time go fast, what are the new model component tweaks they can implement? And they did implement that. It shows up as very effective. I would expect continue to see a lot of tweaks, model architecture at the small level, not kind of major level. Make the model quality and the speed and cost much more optimized continuously from various different providers. But overall, my prediction is the overall space of the base model is convergent. If we only look at one modality, right? So one modality is text-based. Another dimension is, hey, what if about multimodal? I think multimodal, the closed model, is still ahead of open model by a good margin. That's the investment in data and the focus. I think the open model providers are more laser focused on the text-based, the logical reasoning model, the coding capability, tool call capability for agentic development, and so on, but less on voice, vision, video. There's some effort there, but less a focus compared with LLM. So we'll see the convergence on LLM to go much faster, and then other modality will catch up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll catch up. It's probably just much more expensive, and there is more commercial use in multimodal. So for the closed companies, it makes much more sense to protect their invention. But I agree with you, they're going to catch up pretty soon. So we were talking about these Chinese models, and they've been super innovative and they are open. It feels like they benefit from that. Zhipu AI, which is now Z AI, they've been obsessed about AGI. So for them, it's apparently their way to achieve AGI through open source. If we talk about the US companies, like your ex-employee Meta, they recently published this statement about superintelligence where Mark Zuckerberg says they might not open source everything. They will, think more carefully. Why such difference here? How do you think about it?
I think on the Meta side, we're yet to be seen, right? So I don't think that's a final call. But I can understand there's continuous internal discussion, which is healthy, about where to focus, right? So if pushing the product first to drive the business top line, or pushing the ecosystem to drive consolidation on Llama models, right? So those kind of just business decisions, I would expect continuous discussion within Meta. At the same time, I think Google has been driving open models, and I think I heard other providers are also driving open models from US. So I would stay very excited about, hey, they do care about the open model community and want to contribute. The interesting part of contributing to the open model community is the bar is not low. You contribute to open model because not because it's easy. Because today, whoever is launch a new open model, they have to show benchmarks across the board, compare with closed model as well, and the latest open model, which is already very high bar. It will push the open model to become better and better because no one is willing to kind of lower the bar. And if you lower the bar, no one cares anyways. It's a waste of time. So I remain very excited to see what's yet to come. It's kind of a demonstration of showing the depth of the research and showing the talent density and output from a particular company. It's good for their reputation. It's also good for the broader community.
If we talk more about superintelligence and AGI, what's your take on it? Is it like solving intelligence, or is it more about building better tools, or you just do not think about it?
We have a strong opinion where fireworks provide value. Obviously, different company will have different positioning. Where we want to provide value is we want to make the application developer shine. We want to provide the best tools, tool chains, infrastructure for them to build on top of, where they can easily create the data flying well from the production data and drive the last mile data alignment with the model. So the model becomes better tuned towards their application. Their product becomes better because better model and drive better user engagement. More user engagement drives more data drives more better model. And this is a virtual cycle we want them to create. And that's where we are very passionate about building and delivering to the hands of application developers. So that's our strong opinion, is we add value as tools, as infrastructure, and we want to enable them to create the best social value that will show up day to day, that my family, my mom will be using it and say, oh, this is really cool. And I will be able to say, hey, actually they use fireworks. And today I can already say that to many of the newer applications. And I want to kind of be able to enable way more.
When do you think, what's your prospects when AI infrastructure will be much easier, much lighter?
I think we have already demonstrated that capability, that through our 3D optimizer, we can significantly accelerate speed and cost, reduce cost, and sometimes, without sacrificing quality or even improving quality, by the order of magnitude of improvement can be between 4 times to more than 10 times better.
Wow.
So that's the power we have demonstrated. And we plan to continue to maximize that and continue down this journey. But I think the industry should see 100 times more efficient infrastructure. Yeah, that future is definitely coming. Obviously, we are adding value, a lot of value in that layer. But I also believe the fundamental infrastructure, the fundamental hardware, underlying hardware, and everything will be much more efficient over time. That's where we see the CPU journey. The CPU itself from single core to dual core, core, and with newer generation, the price performance becomes significantly better. And with massive adoption, the manufacturer cost get much better. And everything around that becomes much more efficient operationally.
CPU, not GPU.
We have seen that at the CPU time. So right now, I think we should see that in current space of the AI hardware on GPU, other hardware accelerators, ASICs across the board.
Your approach is very pragmatic, and you're building this AI world. What excites you and what concerns you the most about the world you're building?
What excites us, being very consistent at the beginning of our journey, is this is extremely fast-moving and dynamic market. And we firmly believe we are providing a generational new technology that will shift the industry. And we are in this huge wave, a huge tidal wave of industrial shift, probably even much bigger than the previous wave of cloud first, of mobile first.
Most likely.
That excites us day to day. Like we woke up, we go to sleep, and woke up, immediately think about how to solve problems. What is a strategy that's kind of very energetic and pique our intellectual curiosity and creativity. So the whole entire company is very energetic around that. What keeps me up at night is how to strike a balance, because we tend to go really fast. Our company, operating principle, one is customer first. I talk about that. And the second is high velocity of innovation. So these two are the fundamental operating principle, and everything else derived from that. On the move fast side, there's a flip side of move fast tend to break things, and how to manage that, because we do provide high quality infrastructure and we're proud of ourselves for doing that, and maintain a good balance between continue to move really fast, but infrastructure is highly stable and reliable. our customers, we're pushing hard to kind of strike a good balance. Those are the interesting challenges we're seeing. And we want to also build infrastructure so we can scale very quickly, scale our fleet very quickly, scale our product features very quickly, scale various different customization very quickly. So there are different levels of velocity of speed we are adding or compounding on top of the base layers all the time. So those are the kind of interesting problems we like to solve. It's a very complex infrastructure problem, but we are very good at solving those, and that also keeps us at night all the time.
Thank you so much. My last question will be, what is a book or idea that shaped the way you think about your leadership or the future? But basically, what is the book that shaped you?
I probably cannot pinpoint one book. It's more like the life experience that shaped me, the interaction with many people that I have learned from, and the journey, the internal journey I work with myself to think differently that have shaped who I am today. 7-10 years ago, I'm a completely different person. I have a lot of passion to do things, but it's more like myself telling myself, hey, maybe other people is better at doing those things, not you. And it took me multiple years to take that inner voice out. That's a very interesting journey to kind of work with, because it's not like I put myself in a challenging position to grow. It's other people push me and force me to embrace myself that I can accomplish, and give me a different level of imagination. This is a very unique journey I've experienced. I would say I really highly appreciate. It also gave me a lot of firsthand insight to share with other people. Whenever I see that their inner voice is actually the limitation, not anything else. That's kind of the interesting part of my personal journey.
So your book is the people around you.
Definitely. And find the people who really challenge you and make you uncomfortable is a blessing. And go through the pain of embrace those challenge with the possibility you may fail, and don't be afraid of it. Once you get to the other end of this tunnel, you will be a different person.
That's very inspirational. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you for having me. I'm having a lot of fun.